Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you to next Industry 5.0 keynote speech. This time we will speak about accountability for impact, and especially about the role of independent verification. My name is Michael Rada. I am a human, and I am the founder of Industry 5.0. And before we start, let me ask you two questions. The first is who we are. We have many titles. We are managers, presidents, chairmen, students, producers, teachers. We are fathers and mothers. We collect many titles, but unfortunately, with every single one which came, we forgot one, that we are human beings. Living ones, not like this man on County Art of Pilsen Brewery. And if we do realize who we are, let me ask you the second question. Where do we live? Because we live in beautiful cities like Roubaix, Pilsen, Paris, Brussels. We live in beautiful cities which we fill with trash. We work in factories which produce in one day more trash than a city in a month. And we produce products which frequently become trash before reaching the end user. And we store them in big metal houses filled with air, calling for more to be built to store our trash inside. And at the end of the shift, we leave next to the output of our production and we arrive home. And maybe we do realize that something what was called food before is called bio-waste today. And we look at the red sky above our heads asking ourselves, where do we live? And this question I will answer to you today. But before doing so, let's see the topic of the presentation. What is impact investment? Asking Wikipedia, you will find that impact investing refers to investment made into companies, organizations, and funds with the intention to generate a measurable, beneficial social or environmental impact alongside with financial returns. At its core, impact investing is about an alignment of investors' beliefs and values with the allocation of capital to address social and environmental issues. And impact investors actively seek to place capital nonprofits and funds in industries such as renewable energy, housing, homelessness, education, microfinance, and sustainable agriculture. But what is the reality? I was born on December 24th, 1971. At the day our planet was called blue marble. But in 2019, the planet was not blue anymore. It was covered with environmental damage. So strong that the blue phase disappeared. 1 year later, something strange happened and the blue phase showed up again, not because humans change intentionally their behavior, but because COVID, a virus, locked us down. We are living on a planet around which we have been able to establish a global landfill with 170 million pieces of space debris. These pieces are smaller than 10 centimeters, but you have to add another 850,000 of 10 to 30 centimeters and more than 75,000 bigger than 10 centimeters. This all happened in few decades' time. And what happened to the planet itself? We dig inside hunting for the only criteria of success, which is more. No matter what. More money, more people, more companies. More power, more wealth, more horses. More become the only criteria of success. Ask Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mike Bloomberg, Bill Gates. The list is long. Ask the people who are in Fortune 500 how they get into the list. We are living on a planet together with 7.966 billion people, not knowing that 200 years ago it was just 1 billion. 100 years later it was just 1.5 billion, and despite of 2 world wars, 2 war pandemics, and more than 650 local war conflicts happening since 1945. There has been 5 times more people living on the planet today, and in 2050, some predicts there will be 11 billion people living here. And just now, please remember the last image I showed you. We are living on a planet in 206 countries according to UN 193. We are speaking 7,000 languages. We are riding 1 billion cars, and we let 9 million people yearly die hungry, despite the fact that every single day more than 23 million tons of food and crop is being wasted. We let 800,000 people yearly dying thirsty, despite the fact that only California crude oil industry consume every single day more than 347 million liters of drinking water. We are planting our food to throw it away because the leaves are not green enough for the buyer in a chain store. We put our overproduction on the landfills and in the rivers, not to spoil the market price. We carry our water in firefighting tanks, not knowing that the same amount of water is needed to produce just one and simple hamburger. And we do it on the same planet on which one sip of water can save not one, but 2 lives. We work in factories and businesses which has walls filled with environmental certificate, and behind the walls the same company creates a landfill. The companies store their obsolete packaging on a parking lots dedicated to employees, waiting till it becomes waste. We are wasting products which are not perfect for one, but can serve hundreds and thousands of others. We are listening to the words of World Bank, which says that till 2050 the waste volume will increase. In some destination it will double. In the same report is written that almost everything can be reused or utilized again, but in fact only 13.5% of all is being utilized again. This is what made waste industry the 3rd most profitable industry in the world, following war industry and crude oil industry. What is Industry 5.0? It is the first industrial evolution ever led by man, by human. It was introduced on December 1st, 2015, and it is launched together with the fact of realizing that we can recognize and prevent 4 types of waste: physical, social, urban, and process waste. And the principles of Industry 5.0 has already been implemented since 2013, which helps to prevent more than 1 million metric tons of products and material to become waste. There are a lot of fails in impact investment. Here are a few of them. The Ocean Cleanup Project collected more than $75 million with the aim to clean up the Pacific garbage patch. Since it began its operation, the garbage patch is growing. The result was not delivered, and instead of concentrating on the aim which was paid by the investors, the owner decides to produce sunglasses. CO2 emission trading collected billions in emission trading. Billions which revealed or remains to impact investment and should be utilized the right way. Since the introduction of the scheme, carbon emission volume is growing. Industry 4.0, introduced in 2011, launched in 2013. Billions of euro invested to find out in 7 years that the industries are weaker than any time before in COVID times. Carbon capture project on Greenland, $15 million has been invested to find out that this machine collects less CO2 emissions on Greenland than it's being produced one average US citizen in 1 week time. H3DA battery, a revolutionary battery, $10 million invested. The production never started, and it seems like to be big scam. World hunger end was promised by Elon Musk to be ended. He should invest, according to his word, $4 billion. At the end, he decided not to do so, but to buy Twitter instead, where he promised $43 billion to be invested. The result is court of justice because Mr. Musk withdraw our interest after he gets a lot of attention from the media. What has been the reasons for the fails and for the loss of invested money? One was that the evaluation was made on promises and estimates only. The ocean cleanup project founder make a trial in his bathtub, and there it works. There is no responsibility, no obligation by project owner. It does not happen, sorry. It happens. Marketing-driven society demand. In fact, market demand is a buzzword and has nothing to do with the reality. Tax deduction of impact investment, it's a very interesting tool how to secure more money for the owner. Next reason is the backup by global authorities, including United Nations, European Commission, World Economic Forum, and others. Government-led investments are easy because the governments are not investing the money of politicians, but of the citizens. No binding result delivery is needed to keep the money. I was asked for many years, Mr. Rada, what is the value of Industry 5.0? In 2019, we introduced for the first time its value. The value of global systematic waste prevention. It was $475 trillion at the time. But what is interesting, already on the first year, you can save up to 50% of the cost related to waste management. But unfortunately, this number, this value is no more valid. It is higher. because for the first time in mankind's history, an industry has a value of 1 quadrillion. Why? The reason is the war in Ukraine, because not a single shot will be reused, and not a single human life will be ever recovered. Why independent verification is needed and how does it should look like? The need was expressed in the files. And here is how it can be prevented. There must be granted the third-party independency, looking at the core business of the person or company who will verify. There must be delivered objective review. The best should be delivered by someone who does not know anything, especially not the answer. Not proof of concept, but the results should be delivered first as a proof. Full responsibility for delivery by fund receiver is needed, and partnership instead of an investment is much more valuable than anything else. And this is why transparency should be at the very beginning, not signing NDAs, and only palpable results should be delivered because these results can be touched. We can use a rope for change, and there are many ways how to use it. For example, you can use it to make it round, to make a circle out of it. You put the people around and you tell them to pull. What will happen? Maybe the circle starts to rotate, but it will not help to deliver the result which was expected. So there is another way. You can take the rope, unthread it in a small threads, and put the people alongside and tell them to pull. But if you don't tell them when, how strong, in which direction, many of the threads will just break without delivering the result. Or there is a third way. You can take the rope, you can tie it to the place which you need to move. You put people along and you tell them when, how, in which direction to pull in harmony. And this is how Industry 5.0 works. We have made one big mistake in the past. We consider that our future can be built on the top of a pyramid, not realizing that our role model, the Egyptian pyramids, has not been built for the living ones to live inside, but to store dead bodies instead. This is why I spent time and delivered another groundstone, a groundstone on which a stable future can be built, no matter how strong the planet will shake or the virus will strike. How does it work? It's not easy, because firstly you have to recognize that something must not become waste, and trust me, that's not an easy task. But if you do, the second one, even harder one, expect you to reconsider what to do with the item which you just saved. And it's really harder. But then the third step is the reward. You probably fail for the first, second, third time, but when you succeed, you will start to change the world with the work of your hands. I have a request to all of you. Please, do not ask sustainability before you become sustainable yourself. Reduce financing of publication and invest in doers who deliver the results instead. Do not measure what you cannot measure yourself. And eliminate fear from the company and society standards. Don't ask people to run. Let them work and concentrate on their work instead. Take a picture before you create after, because you will need to remember. And value humans, not machines or technology. And please, do not waste your time in personal profit only. To do so, I spent 8 years to write the only existing waste prevention methodology and legislation. And so here it is how it works. Nothing that can be used or utilized again must become waste. Everything must be considered pre-waste existing result and remain in the system. The secondary use or utilization is not limited to primary function of a product or material and can be executed by everyone respecting the rules, regulations, and safety conditions. Collecting, sorting, baling, and trade are not considered secondary utilization anymore, and if not utilized on a primary location, it must be offered to others before being wasted. Dear ladies and gentlemen, please understand one. There is no waste if we do not waste. And I don't know whether you will trust me, but you can check. Not a single legislation in the world consists definition how waste is being created. So I added to the legislation because it must be part. Wasting is a process in which product or material of any kind, foreign volume, become waste. Wasting is a system failure and must be prevented first without any limitation or legal restriction. And please understand, wasting is not a feature of a product or material, but the result of human behavior. And single use is one of the most common forms of wasting. Dear ladies and gentlemen, Industry 5.0 is the first industrial evolution ever led by man, by human. It is new mindset of businesses, companies, and individuals from wasteful to wasteless. It delivers results without the need of capital investment, and it's based on the principles of systematic waste prevention, utilizing the existing on-the-ground mines. It's based on transparency, profit sharing, and efficiency, and please do understand once. Industry 5.0 is not a sales tool for selling products, artificial intelligence, or a buzzword to sell your own promotion. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we are living in the age of digitalization of our work. Our children live for 2 years in the times of digitalized education, and our leisure time was digitalized long time ago, so it looks like that the only things which needs to be digitalized is the human himself. But if we do so, our home will look like this, because data don't need any light. I realized that a decade ago, and I decided I do not want to live on a bottom of a black hole. This is why I decided to build new world, new home, wasteless world. From January 1st, 2022, we launched 17 project, the Global Recovery Project, which in 17 months will recover global economy, society, industries, and environment, because the same time needed COVID to put everything down. Dear ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike Rada. I am a human. And don't worry, I am not alone. At this moment, there are 108 Industry 5.0 ambassadors representing Industry 5.0 principles and tools in 108 countries, delivering the access to systematic waste prevention to 89% of global population. I have decided what to do.